So this week we'll be talking about accessible design, accessibility, and how that changed throughout the decades. And additionally, we'll be talking about the different kinds of constraints that existed in the 80s and in the 90s and how that changed how people use the internet to do things such as shop and use shopping platforms. So for this week's lab, I chose to emulate Newegg.com's online shopping platform. This is it here. So, Newegg is a strictly online retailer of items, including computer hardware and consumer electronics. And one of the things they do is they employ an effective design for their online platform. They're able to divide and categorize the product into specific uses or brands, and this makes it extremely easy to find what you're looking for. An example of this would simply be scrolling to this drop down, looking for components, and say you're specifically looking for graphics cards, you would come over here and categorize further down into here. And then from here, you can go into different uses, brands, and manufacturers, etc. So porting this shopping platform to the 1980s design constraints would be very difficult. Two of these reasons are the lack of images and the lack of an interactive menu where one could click through and narrow down their search. So to remedy this, we would add measurements and stuff like that. But before we can do that, we would have to create a text-based filtering system where a customer could narrow down their search. So using this design, we would start with all products, and then we would have a prompt which would ask the customer to input a selection from networking, computer components, or gaming. And then from there, we would do the same thing once they chose one of these. So say they chose computer components, we would go down into CPUs, motherboards, and memory, 1, 2, 3. And then from motherboards, we would select the socket type, and that would expand further and further until we reach our selected product. So also additionally, in terms of solving the lack of images, we would simply have to add a more concise description of the product, including stuff such as measurements and form factor to be able to show our customers or tell them if this specific piece will be able to fit in their server or in their case. So come the 1990s, we can implement HTML, and this would make our job a lot easier because of availability of a somewhat interactive web page, as well as images to complement spec details of a specific computer component. This will give customers a clear picture of what they'll be purchasing, what they're looking at, and what to expect. So a mock-up of what a product description is can be seen here. Here we would have some kind of picture of the product, a header or a title, its price, and then the specs and further details about the product. The code of the simple HTML page is seen here. Additionally, I put it into a CodePen for the lab. But as you can see, the accessibility has changed from decade to decade, and it's very evident that it's only improving as we go on. Thank you for listening.